are su ku kanurin tongortui
in shortine nin walagoni
Emi Imboze Bra ina Sara State.
Ina alfahari da kasancewa Bahaushe.
Ni na buwa shangu ba meware hubegu.
Ami monyimu mamboko mi samide yiku ojirwa zepo.
Me indi Maleza kan dijirina. Ni puse adagan Maleza.
Ina da alfahari ikasanchago dun fulbe.
Mappa yala na agba wana gashi bubasa.
Ne musun kirindire. Muri murukuma da ne kware lumen kirindire.
Nasarawa people. Nasarawa people. Culture, origin, festivals, customs, and cuisine of the people.
And Lago people, they are very wonderful people, very hospitable and very, very receptive. Our women are very, very good cooks and good wives.
A wancan zamani na da to wannan shine zaninmu na ɗaurawa mu ne kuma ma iyayen kakanninmu su ne suke yi.
In those days, these were the wearers, and our forefathers were the weavers. This is why we call it traditional wears. We all grew up and made it. We were since been using this as wears before the coming of the contemporary wears by the white men.
Wajen iyayenmu su ɗan karbi wannan barkin, karbi wannan barkin, karbi wannan barkin, kafin har su zo mana da waɗannan tufa iri-iri. To muna yi. Wannan aiki an fare shi ne da abduga.
We source our raw materials from cotton, process the cotton to form thread, and begin weaving. This is our early tool we use to produce thread from cotton.
Sai aka zo aka samo wannan na turawa. Shine kuma muka ci gaba da shi muna yi. Cin gaba dai yana ta karuwa da akan yi.
Initially, we formed the thread from cotton, but for convenience, we are now using the sewing threads to weave. It's much more preferable than before. You can wash it, iron it, and wear it very smooth.
Yafi inganci, yafi haske, yafi komai ba nauyi, kuma za a iya wanke shi a goga shi ana daurawa. game da masu saya motar tashiwa a nan dai iyayenmu a rago su ne suke amfani da wannan kaya.
And as regards to the commercial aspect of weaving, the Alago people, Jukun and Ankwe people, these three ethnic groups were the major patronizers, that is our customers of this costume. If Doma, Kiana, Obi and Asakio are having any kind of event, they come and place order. For wedding, they order for wrappers and head ties.
Abin da ya kama wannan wajen ko amarya ne za a rufa na baki akan irin wanda wannan yake kun daukan nan sukan sai an sa zani da dikon shi.
The Alago in Doma. Our main cultural activities are the Odu and the Amiri festivals. These ones are a celebration. But there are other socio-cultural activities that people embarked upon. Some are based on clans. They are not societal wide. Some are rituals exclusive to families. Some are rituals only for the dead. That one, they are applicable to families that will have lost their own and sympathizers that join them at it. But the larger cultural activities that has to do with Doma are essentially the Odu festival, which is annual, and the Amiri festival, which is also annual. Odu festival came up during the tenure of Andoma or Lagaza, Adra or Lagaza, and is centuries away. Odu festival is always before the first rains of the year. That's why it is always second and third week of March every year. We celebrate the Odu festival. So that as soon as the Odu festival is over, the first rain comes and everybody moves to the farm. The Amiri has been as old as the existence of Doma, because Amiri is all about annually going to clear our graveyards, the graveyards of our forebears. Each lineage, each clan, we join hands with their younger ones and the older ones to go to every location of the graveyards where their forebears are buried, to go and make sure the locations are cleared of weeds, so that no wrong things find their way into the graveyards or the graves of their forebears. And of course, Amir also provides an opportunity for the younger ones to observe the annual wrestling contest, where people come from their various locations to Ikbogaye. That was the original location for the wrestling contest. 1 full month of wrestling contest to mark the Amiri period, where young able-bodied men will come, each to display their ancestry and capacity to wrestle. And at the end of every wrestling contest, there will always be a champion who was unbeaten during the last day of the wrestling contest. And he will be carried shoulder high across streets in the night to his father's house, and drummers will observe the full length of the night, celebrating his capacity to have outlived everybody as the champion of that year's Armory Wrestling Festival.
One of the ways to promote our culture is for you to project your culture. Projecting your culture is for you to continue to showcase your culture. You must encourage your people to speak your language. You must encourage your people to wear your attires. You must encourage your people to do those things our forefathers did, that on a very serious note, they are not really against any of the religions we are doing. Those ones that are against the religion, you drop them so that we continue to project and promote them. Like the festivals you see in the various Alago communities, these have been celebrated continuously so that our children will come and know them, and after that the media will help us to send this thing out there to the rest of the world to get to know our beautiful culture. Our culture is our heritage, so we must be able to continue to project them.
At death, there is Okwe that will come. Okwe masquerade is the Okwe that will come as a masquerade to confirm that somebody is dead. Once it confirms, they have their language of expression in pronouncing and confirming the dead, like the medical doctors will do through their processes. Once the Okwe confirms the death of a deceased, message will now be relayed to the Iwagu. The Iwagu masquerade will now come to Angwamaraki, and the Iwagu masquerade will formally convey the message of the commencement of the processes of death and all the rituals surrounding preparing the dead person for burial. And the Iwagu masquerade leads the corpse to his final resting place. The Okwe is not a masquerade for everybody. It's exclusive to certain persons. Hitherto, Okwe masquerades are exclusively for the royalists. Exclusively. So if you don't belong to the royal family, you can't have one. But the Okwe can identify with the dead, male or female, that belongs to the royal family. Iwagu masquerade belongs to the Iwagu cult in Madaki. It's an exclusive preserve of the Owuse family, and Madaki exclusively. It's another cult that is exclusively their own. But they relate with others as it affects their own, whether as relatives or members of their family, for the Iwagu to also come out. The Inangbo masquerade appears with his leaves as his regalia to commemorate the dead also. Apart from Eku, which is of the Odu festival and it's an annual appearance, just 1-2 days. Every masquerade is exclusive to a particular clan and the reason for them to appear. But the Eku only appear once in a year and twice during the Odu festival. But along with the Eku, there are other sundry masquerades that come up. Abokyo appears during the Odu festival too. Inariko also appears during the Odu festival. Inariko is an entertainer. Burials, incidentally, all the initial settlements of Doma, or Doroya, being the first and the only original settlement, today is a graveyard because it housed the graveyard of Anomo Sawan Yogoshi. All the other royal highnesses that belong to his lineage that are there. Odogyo and Asibiri, who are original settlements, also today are all graveyards or the initiators of all of those locations for their lineages and their clans.
Well, generally, Western education, we discover that the history shows that it is Roman Catholic Christianity that brought Western education to this part of the country. And when it came to Doma specifically, it was something that people had borne. They didn't want to embrace it. But eventually, when with enlightenment, people go to, and then what they saw, some felt that, well, because of what we saw, some individuals, or who they are motivated. But initially, it was rejected, and people would carry their children and run back to the farm because we have farm settlement, so that they will not take my children and take to Oibo culture. So that has been, or that was the culture then, the attitude of the Alago people in Doma then.
That citizenship means a status is a priority given to someone that is residing in a particular country. That's what we mean by citizenship.
We have two categories of women. When we are married, we group our women into two. That is the Onyabashi and the Onyabibi. That is the loved wives, and I don't want to use the word hatred, but let me use the word the most loved wife, and the other who is not commonly loved. So we call them in Alago balance Onyabibi and then Onyabashi. So the culture has been that since this is not something, Western education is not something that people embrace, well, and because of coercion, people are now, okay, let me give my child that comes from the Onyabibi. The thing is, because the hatred, let me use that word, for the better word, the hatred of the woman transcends into even the child. So whatever belongs to her is also being hated. Not because of the child is bad, but because that kind of classification that was given to the woman, even the child has that classification, it belongs to that classification. Therefore, the child from Donyabibi is the person that will go to Oibo school. So it's a rejected person, so to say. So that is how some of those people who went to school early went to school. But eventually, when they discovered the importance of Western education, the Nyabibi child becomes somebody who is loved by the society, loved by the world. He becomes an Oibo person, he behaves like a Igbo person, he dresses like a Igbo person. You know, if there's any Oibo, anything that has to do with the English language in the compound, it will be the one to bail out the family. So people now begin to say, so this person that I'm seeing as if he's a rejected person is now the child of the world now, because everything about the world, everything about English system, everything about the society, they cannot do without him. He's always there. People become interested in the Western education based on what they have seen.
Nobody gives you his daughter to marry until they check the history of that family. From your great-grandparents, whether anybody has done anything disgraceful. Have you ever insulted anybody in public? Have you ever taken anybody's piece of cloth? Have you ever taken anybody's piece of yam? Anything that will be bad history, that will amount to their family associated with it, they will never give you their daughter. So that aspect is essentially a predominant factor: integrity, chastity, decency, fear of God, and most importantly, how beneficial are you to the community? Families will always investigate and investigate until they are sure from great-grandparents nobody has any dent in his or her name, before they agree that their child can begin to listen to you, before they even allow that you should even come and mention your intention, before they even talk of ultimately giving you the girl to marry.
Weddings in those days, if you met a lady you wish to marry and another person also sees her and have the desire to marry her, you both will all present yourself before the family of the lady to know your ambition, as the lady will be asked to make a choice between the two of you. And if she said this is the person she wants to marry, immediately, the parents will ask the boy to send his parents with some little amount of money as an introduction. Her parents will create an avenue for their daughter and the husband-to-be to sit within the compound and have their conversation so they can both understand themselves better. And if the lady have grown up to get married, the boy will send bride price to the lady's parents before he can take his wife to his house.
The groom's friend will come to the wife's house and ask her to accompany him to his friend. She will shy away from such requests, and the groom's friend will plead, "Oh, my friend's wife, I am the one who came to go with you." The lady will again say no, she is not going. The groom's friend will continue to persuade her to accept going with her. That will continue until later she will finally enter the room and pick a hair-tied and tied her wrapper onto the chest, and that is all. And the trip to the husband's house begins. Without clothes, without shoes.
Managed decency and integrity of their family and have delivered their daughter to their husband as a virgin. That they will go around the whole town beating drum and celebrating their parenthood as good ones. Doma is founded on 3 lineages, and each lineage has people that belong to the lineage. In Doma, you must belong to the 3 lineages that are founded in Odorogia, Odojo, and Asigri. And each of these lineages has a number of royal families under them. In Odorogya, you have the Ayogoga. In Odogyo, you have the Obushugu and those that are associated with them. In Asibiri, you have the Adebogede, Aize, and others are associated with them. So the throne of the Andoma of Doma is exclusively of the male princes from these three lineages. If you don't belong to these three lineages or the royal families under these lineages, you can't be the Andoma of Doma. But if your mother is a princess, one of the daughters of one of the Andoma of Doma that is dead or alive, you also have your own titles. And the sons of princesses are those that constitute the Kingmaker College of the Andoma of Doma. If your mother is a daughter of an Andoma, existing or in the past, you can be appointed a Kingmaker. That is the highest title they can attend. So if you are Madaki or Use, if you are Madochi or Kuba, if you are Galadima or Shata, if you are Mukunguji or Bole, Pakachi, Waziri or Tafida, these 7 are the Kingmakers that select the Andoma of Doma. You can't be any of these 7 unless your mother is a princess. Humanity is about goodness. In every opportunity we find ourselves, irrespective of tribe, locations, or our forms of worship. What is most important is the record of history that will exist about you, dead or alive, of your input to making humanity the better. So as a man from Doma, I pray that one day Doma will be among the communities of the world that has impacted positively in the life of humanity. So that among the many history of the world that will be written now and in the future, Doma will be seen as a community whose benefit has radiated the length and breadth of the world with goodness. So that people will say, this good thing is from Doma. This good person is from Doma. This mass benefit is a product of the good that God has manifested from Doma, or the son or daughter of Doma.